All right, perfect. So now that we know that our form is sending information and we are able to catch it, make sure that you take your echoes out of there. You might have something like that. Make sure you take them out because we're not testing it no more. Let's just take it out, right? Make sure you do that. Now, the next step for this is, after we know that we are receiving information and everything is working fine, is that we need to clean up the data. And I hope you remember the MySQL injection lecture that I gave you. If not, just go back to it. Basically, users can send information, or hackers, or whatever you want to call it, bad people out there can send different values in our fields, and they can delete data out of our database. They can send parameters here and do harm to our site. We don't want that. We need to avoid that. So the PHP people or developers made a really cool function called mysqli underscore real underscore escape underscore string that cleans up this data. All right. So we're gonna send it. It takes two parameters. It takes the connection and it takes whatever is cleaning. All right. So right now it's cleaning the username, and we are going to be assigning it to the same variable, actually to a variable called username, which is going to be equal to this new clean version of it. You can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to name it the same, so that way we are using the same variable name. All right. I think it makes more sense. So password, and let's just change the next one to password. So I was able to do both of them real quick here, as you can see. So now that we know that our information that is coming from our form is clean and it doesn't have SQL injection on it, then we can put it into our database. And we're just going to make a very simple query here, all right, to check our column there in our table. In our table users, we're going to check a column, and let's check some values there first. Let's just say select, and if I can write it right, that would be nice. Select all from where? From users, right? That's the table we're gonna be checking when people are logging in. So we're gonna say where what. Let's go and check. We know if we find a username that is the same, then we can pull out all the information regarding that user. So we're gonna compare that to this username right here. Make sure you put your two quotes here, single quotes, brackets, and then paste that in there because it's a string. Remember that. All right, so we're gonna pull everything out of it if we find that this user in our users table is the same. All right, we're gonna be pulling out a lot of information from this guy, right? From this person. It could be a woman too. Okay, select user query. All right, and it's gonna be equal to MySQLi. We've done this before, right? Many times. We send the two parameters like always, connection, and then we send the query in. Perfect. Then we can also test this out if we wanted to. So we could say if select query is not good, then we can do something else with it, right? Then we can just die everything out. In the admin side, we're using a function that is very handy. On this side, we don't have that function since we don't have the same functionality that we have in the admin here in the front side on the root directory. Maybe later on we would include that when we are cleaning up the site and refactoring some things. Maybe we will put that function in there. Right now, like I said before, I'm more concerned about you learning the fundamentals, getting everything down, and then later on, then once you get the knowledge, then you can start being creative by cleaning it up, making it more reusable, and doing things like that. All right. Right now, let's just get concentrated on understanding what we're doing here. All right. So we're gonna say die. We're gonna say query failed, and we're gonna say MySQLi. We're gonna concatenate here an error. MySQLi, and then this arrow is gonna have a connection. That's the way it's gonna connect to this. All right. So we're gonna die. We're gonna provide a query string right here. Query failed. Right. So we can test this right now, but I want to really keep going. Let's just see if we get any errors there. So we're going to select everything from users and we're going to send this query in. Let's just make sure that, let's see what it does. Submit, and it looks like we don't have any errors. So we are doing good. Perfect. All right. All right. So let's go ahead and do that while loop real quick and test things out real quick. And then we'll divide this lecture into another one. All right. Because we don't want to make it too long. I don't want to get you too tired and then, too boring, right? This is exciting, guys. We're doing something that will change your life very shortly, and the more you do it, the better it is. All right. So we're using the while loop again to do the same thing we've done many times by using the MySQLi fetch array to pull that information out of there. So we need to put the result of that query in here, right? And remember, this function is going to bring us the result in, and we're going to assign it to this variable, and then we use that result to loop through it. All right. So right now we're looping through that result, and let's check it out. Let's see if we can pull some data out of that without any errors. So let's just say row. Let's check out this array, and I'm gonna check on this one here. Let's check on this row right here, and let's echo it. Let's check it out. So we know that in our CMS, if we go to admin users, actually we have a big thing here, and that's just, don't worry, you're not gonna have that error there. I was just messing around with some sessions there, so don't worry about that. So we're gonna go here and we are going to check on Rico's, right? So we have a Rico username, and then we need to check on his password, right? Again, don't worry about this dashboard thing here. This is something that I was testing before I made the course, so you're not going to have that error there. All right. All right. So let's check on that users table, and we see Rico here has a username and the password is 123. So let's check on that. Let's see what can we get out of that. So Rico, all right, and 123, submit. You see that we get 1 there. You don't need to put the password. You can just put Rico, submit, and it gives you the number 1 ID. So we know that we're getting some data out of that. All right, perfect. So it's working now. I'm going to divide this lecture into another one. The next one we're going to finish some of this. So I'm pulling out some more information and doing some more processing. All right. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this lecture, and I'll see you on the next one.